Hello, I'm Liam. I wanted to try getting into pedal building. I thought I would bring you along on this journey. I don't even really know what I'm going to do with this, but I've got a big spreadsheet here of everything I ordered from Tayda, and a big box here. Some bins and masking tape and Sharpie. I'm going to try and sort everything out. I'll put links to where I got these builds from in the description, I guess, if this becomes a YouTube video. Yeah, I thought I'd bring you along on this journey. I ordered a lot of components because I'm hoping that I'll continue this hobby. All right, let's open up this box, I guess. So this is the box, how it came. We've got a lot of components in here to get through. This is my desk setup that I've kind of set up in the past week. I cleaned out this basement. There was a snake when I was cleaning it out. That was pretty funny. I got a soldering station and some helping hands and stuff. I've got my mum's old multimeter from when she did her TV technician and radio technician apprenticeship in like 92 or something. She's lent me that, so that's pretty nice. But anyway, I'm going to start opening these up. I've got like 32 storage drawers below the camera here. I've got these containers to put stuff in as well. Some people might be horrified with how I've jumped into this. I think I am very much a person who just, when I think I'll get into something, I go a bit too far into it. I hope that I keep up this hobby and that it's worth it. I've spent enough money on pedals to be like, okay, I can spend a bit now and get to have more of a fun hobby and tinker around with getting an exact sound that I want. If that makes sense. I guess I'm going camping, coming back. Hopefully we'll get a rat breadboarded and see how it sounds. I went camping for a few days, but I'm back now. I'm super excited to finally breadboard a rat. I'm going to breadboard it now. I'm using effects layouts schematic for a rat distortion. I've got my capacitors out here. I've got my transistor out and LM308 potentiometers. I'm going to pull out resistors as I need them. Got my breadboard. Yeah, I'm going to see how I go. As I put it together, I'll probably show you some updates on how the breadboard's looking as I go. Okay, I'm like maybe a third through, halfway through. I'm using a helpful strategy, which is to highlight each component as I put it in. So hopefully I don't miss anything. I haven't breadboarded in a while. This is fun though. I enjoy, like I said, these kind of competitive tasks. So if you like Lego, you might like this. I hope it works at the end. It's a little bit of a mess, of course. I'm just going to leave this running for a bit while I populate the board and let you guys see this kind of process, I guess. I think I've finished building it. Sorry about the time lapse. My camcorder, it's quite old. It's a Canon X-A10. I took it camping and I don't know, it might have been the final straw. It keeps power cycling. So this is what I've ended up with. I've got a distortion knob here, filter knob and volume knob. I've got a battery snap connected here with a resistor going from the battery snap to the positive rail, and I've hooked up the positive and negative rails here. Yeah, I've got an input wire here, which I'm going to need to hook up to a jack with some alligator clips, and I've got a output wire here from the volume knob. Overall, it was a pretty easy build. I mean, it still took quite a while. I haven't read schematics or breadboarded in quite a long time. I was having to check how to hook up this JFET N channel transistor, that sort of stuff, which took a little bit. The IC definitely took a little bit, making sure I got it right. I mean, to be honest, I don't even know if I've got it right, and I won't know until I go test it. So I'm going to go do that now. Alright, I've just hooked up the effect to my JC120 and my telly. I used DIY Guitar Pedals guide for testing pedal effects. It's on YouTube. He has a really great YouTube channel, and he's also Australian, with lots of good advice that I've been taking. So I've got my input hooked up. I'm about to connect a battery. I've got my output hooked up. There to the amp. Hopefully it works straight away, but I wouldn't be surprised if I've messed up. Even the outboard wiring is a massive point of failure, so we'll see how it goes. Okay, I've just hooked up the battery. Hopefully I don't blow anything up. Let's see. I've just turned it on. Okay, hopefully my camera can hold out on me. Pedal was super noisy, barely any guitar signal. Guitar signal was insanely wrong. I had made a very simple mistake. I had not connected the positive and negative halves of the breadboard together. I had to add those little blue jumper cables, but hopefully when I plug it in now, it will actually work. My camera keeps shutting off, but it does work now. Okay, I'm gonna have to record this on my phone. Sorry about the drop in quality. So it sounds good now. It's pretty buzzy. It's really buzzy where I live. Get this, when I max out the volume knob, some of the buzz goes away. I've never seen that issue. If you have any idea if that's an issue with my guitar or the pedal, let me know. I'd be interested to know. But yeah, sounds good to me. That's super sick. Can't believe after some troubleshooting with the breadboard power line, I was able to get it to work. So I'm going to put it in a box next. I'm definitely going to sit here and just play around with it for the rest of the night though. And then in the morning, I'll drill the enclosure, start getting ready to solder. Definitely going to just sit here and play around more. Okay, it's been a few days. I think I fixed my camcorder using contact cleaner and a lot of spamming the power button. I think some grit had just gotten in there. Got everything out to drill, except I've just realized that I don't have a large enough drill bit. So I've cut out the template from Pedal Effects. I've got my center punch and my hammer, and I've put a drill bit in my drill just to do some pilot holes. So I'm gonna need to go get a step bit some other day, but I'm gonna get these knocked in and the pilot holes done so that another day I can just bang it all out. And then if I have energy, I'll start trying to do the perf board for it. We'll see. I'm tired. I started this new job, had a lot on, so yeah. I've got this set up. Let's see See what happens. I don't really know if I centered this well enough. Don't think I did at all. I'll probably figure out a better method on the next one. I kind of just want to get these done. I'm adding another hole there just for the LED. Oh my god. I just saved that camera from certain doom. Okay, done drilling. Now, I definitely learned some things for anyone else starting off this whole process like me. I don't know why, I just grabbed a random drill bit. Jesus, that lighting is so dramatic. There we go. I just grabbed a random drill bit. I should have grabbed my smallest drill bit. I was using like a center punch. So I don't know why I didn't grab, I like a 1.5 mil bit. Probably would have kept everything a bit straighter because I can look at this now and tell you that it's not quite straight. I mean, I think it'll add to the character. It's only my first pedal, so it's definitely not the worst. But that actually didn't take very long. I mean, I need to get a step drill bit, like obviously it's not done. Okay, I'm gonna have a look at populating my board, I guess. So, I'm gonna get up the layout now, and I'm gonna have a crack. If anyone has any faster way to undo these capacitors from Tayda, I would love to know. It is gonna be the death of me, slowly taking out all the legs. Damn, I didn't realize just how hard this stuff was to cut, and now I'm using my multi sort of tool thing. It's late, so I've closed myself in here. I hope this dust isn't too bad, but it is working, so that's good. Alright, done. Definitely need to figure out a better way to do that. Definitely too late to be doing that. I hope I didn't piss anyone off. Yeah, this is it now. I had to write off the whole top row and extend it by a bit because I cut half the traces off. Okay, so I'm going to follow effects layouts video on perfboard and see how I go. Yeah. Alright, I've got my first resistor in, lined out on it. I'm going to heat up my soldering iron. I've got my lead solder. I need to get a proper fan set up, but I'm not going to do much tonight. So it should be fine. Yeah, hopefully it goes well. I'm going to try and figure out how to record this, but I really need to get a camera stand. I'm going to give this a crack. You guys aren't going to be able to see like anything at all. Sorry. One's kind of looking cold. The first one was better. Yeah, it's bubbling up. It's not really sticking down to the base, so that's better. Alright, let's see if you can see that at all. Yeah, 10k. Okay, cool. That should be fine then. Alright, I'm gonna continue on. I'm gonna not record these next few, but I'll keep you updated. Anyway, first one done. So, gonna end it here, but I've done all the flat components. I only burnt myself once, and only accidentally burnt the tweezer case, so that was good. So this is what I've got so far. I made a mistake, which I said I wouldn't do, and I accidentally started from a top reference and then went from a bottom reference, which was silly, and I ended up using this extra row. So there's gonna be like a weird middle section. Kind of had to change it up a little bit on the fly, and there's this horrifying resistor in series combo that we've done there. I don't have a 560 resistor, so I put two 220s. But yeah, that was pretty fun. They're not amazing, but pretty good for not having soldered for like 3 years or something. It was fun. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. So tomorrow, or whenever I get a chance, I'm going to put all these other ones in. Alright, it's another day. Kind of just locked in and did some soldering. Yeah, so I've populated the board. As you can see, I've just hooked up some wires to each of my potentiometers. This soldering iron that I bought, the tip is it's just not taking solder at all. I don't know if I've done something wrong. I gotta suss it out, but I'm gonna hook up these pots now. It's midnight. I have work tomorrow at 9, but I think I finally finished it. I really gotta figure out. I think I just mistreated this solder tip. But yeah, it started bending, which is not epic. I don't think I was storing it with solder on the tip. Hopefully it'll recover because all the other tips are pretty, yeah, they're pretty big. Not good for this small stuff. Alright, I've done a very rudimentary test setting for the time being. I just need to see if this can work so I can go to bed. I really hope I hooked everything up right. I need to go to bed.
Years of winter. It was the last summer of the Great War. We were flying over the Adriatic on a routine surveillance patrol headed toward Istria. My good buddy Berlini was right beside me. He had just gotten married to Gina of the Hotel Adrianum, and I was his best man. But the war called, so we had to go back into battle right after the ceremony. Suddenly, we were in the middle of the worst dogfight of my life.
Alright, so it's been a while. Had my birthday and went camping again. It's been like a week since I got to work on this. My older sister is acting in a student film that's being shot in my backyard, so I'm trying to be quiet. But yeah, with this, I did some research. R11 and R13 on the perfboard layout need to be swapped. I'm really hoping that is the issue. I don't know. I hope that's what it is, but it was really noisy. So I'm gonna swap those, have a quick look over everything, make sure nothing's shorted, and try it again. I finally got it working. I figured out how to do a little audio probe, which was fun. I used a breadboard jumper cable. Here it is. Oh, no way. I just pulled the power off of my power jumper cable. Okay, I'm just gonna alligator clip it to the power. It should work. So scuffed, but it's hooked up. I'm so happy that it finally works. Oh my god. I need to go still buy a step drill bit and all this stuff and make the enclosure. Box it up. Alright, my partner finished painting the pedal for me today. Oh my god, pretty epic. I'm super keen. I'm going to give it a clear coat, and then tonight I should be able to finally finish assembling it. Can't wait to have this on my board though. I'm going to give it to my friend to try out at a gig on Thursday, I think. let that dry now till after dinner, and then finally do final assembly and offboard wiring. I made a quick test setup to try out some LEDs. Yeah, so a resistor going into the positive side, negative, I mean it all makes sense, it's just to this. So if I plug in the power jack here, there we go. Alright. The toughest decision when making pedals, the color of the LED. Alright, I think I'm gonna have to go with red, the old classic. I'm just now having issues fitting everything in the enclosure. Online, people say, like, do your first build in a larger enclosure. I would agree with that. I'm gonna have to put it this way, with the traces facing out, because of how I've wired the potentiometers and because the labels are already on here. I think, anyway, I'm gonna keep thinking about it and figure something out, but it's gonna be a very tight fit. So I've got it all just mounted to see if it would all fit. You have to squeeze it shut. I'm worried about the tops of some of these capacitors. Yeah, not ideal. And the volume and distortion knobs are on the wrong sides. And I accidentally snapped off a jumper cable to a potentiometer. So, going great. But I still think I'll be able to get this done tonight, hopefully. Alright, that was a lot of messing around. But I'm going to wire it up now using effects layouts, off-board wiring. But far out. I've made this a bit difficult for myself. Like putting the LED at the top and having to wire it all the way down to here is going to be tough. I'm just going to film this whole thing.
I'll take it over tonight. I'll take it over tonight. Change, get it on up, time. Though the cage is blown up, survive.
Okay, last day of this project, hopefully. It's all in there. I need to add, a ground wire to go from the circuit board to the output jack, from the circuit board to the DC jack. So just got a few more things to hook up and then test it and hopefully it just works. Okay, I think I have finished it. My last thing, turn this fan off. I think everything's where it needs to be. I've got power running through. Hopefully it works. I'm actually just gonna plug it in and see if the LED comes on as a first test. Oh, sick. Yeah, dope. Okay. Well, hopefully things are running. Guess we're gonna find out. It's become very messy on the inside. Yeah. It's a bit crazy, but I think it will close. Actually, let's do a test to make sure that it will close. Oh yeah, it'll go. Those electrolytic capacitors will probably snap one day, but that's alright. Okay. Let's go take it upstairs and try it out. Alright, my amp is on, pedals here. I mean, it's in bypass right now, I guess. That seems to be working. Okay, let's turn it on. My microphone's been laying on the ground. I am ecstatic that that works. First try, that's sick. super happy with that. Looking at my pedal board the whole time, everything's so bland on it compared to this. Like, this just looks awesome. So happy with how it sounds and how it looks. Definitely gonna get put on the board somehow. Actually, I'll show off my board. Why not? While I'm here. This is my pedal board right now. So, I'm going to cut out. I had a bunch of blabbing at the start of this video that I'm going to cut out. I'm going to say I've got a few other projects I want to do because I spent a lot of money on components, obviously. I've got an op-amp Big Muff Pi next for grunge stuff. Proto board from Pedal PCB. Those are both from Pedal PCB. I want to make an ABY splitter so I can use the Mother Science preamp and the JC preamp into a power amp and swap between them for 3 channels really, which would be sick. MXR compressor because I don't have a compressor, and a Earthquaker Devices disaster transport just for some more modulation stuff. So yeah, stick around and watch more if you enjoyed this. Hopefully I'll get onto some other stuff soon, but I might also just be playing around with this pedal for a while now.